All right, looks like we're live on YouTube as well. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our our webinar this week on personal GitHub dashboard with Vercel and TiDB Serverless. Great to have Shin and Lee as our co-speakers here. Thanks for joining. And I also want to welcome people that are joining us from the hackathon that we kicked off a few weeks ago, and that Vercel is a sponsor of. I mean, thank you for that as well. We're going to talk about some of the use case with TiDB Serverless and Vercel. That's probably very relevant to the hackathon participants. So I assume that a lot of folks from the hackathon that are here as well. So let me actually do a full screen of the slides. So yeah, my name is Ray Paik. I'm the community manager for TiDB. It's great to have Lee, VP of Developer Experience at Vercel, and Xin-Chi, who's been working hard on towards the GA of TiDB Serverless. It's coming up very soon. So just quick check on the agenda. A couple of quick notes before I jump into the agenda. So. If you have any questions throughout the meetup, I mean, you don't have to wait until the end. Feel free to type in your questions, and myself or I have a couple of our colleagues on the call as well. We might be able to answer the questions as we go, or we'll pause here and there and then pose questions to both Lee and Shin if it's appropriate. So I assume Lee and Shin, that's okay with you. Like, I'll try not to be too disruptive. So please use the Q&A tab versus the chat tab, because Q&A tab, we get a report at the end to make sure that we have all the questions answered. And also a common question from all the virtual meetups is that the recording will be posted on our YouTube channel. So you don't have to furiously take notes or take screenshots. So all the recording will be available right after the event's over. So just head on over to the TiDB developer channel on our YouTube, and you'll be able to find the video. If not, I mean, feel free to reach out to me. My email address should be listed under the event when you registered. So in terms of agenda, so Shin will briefly describe what OSSInsight-Lite is. It's basically a way to build your personal GitHub dashboard. You might be familiar with OSS Insight. And actually, there was an article or posting that was made on Hacker News yesterday on OSSInsight-Lite, just announcing it. And I think it hit like a number 3 on Hacker News, which is always good to see. So a quick tour of OSS Insight from Shin. And we'll turn things over to Lee for overview of Vercel and Next.js. Then we'll come back to Shin to talk about TiDB Serverless and actually show you how this is all built with TiDB Serverless and Vercel. So without further ado, Shin, I guess I could stop sharing and then I'll let you take control. Will that work?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
All right. Let's do that.
All right. Let me share my screen really quick. Let me go to the presentation mode. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yep.
Nice. So hello, everyone. Happy to be here. And yeah, thanks for having me. And we also have Lee online. Just a quick introduction of myself. This is Shin again, a product manager at PingCap. I have been a PM for almost 8 years at PingCap. We are trying to make developer database. We are trying to make database technology easy for developers. Basically, TiDB is a free MySQL alternative with a lot of convenient features for developers. Also, to make database technology accessible for everyone, we are also heavily using Vercel and Next.js to build our first-party web apps, including our TiDB Cloud Management Web Console. myself and my front-end team members are a huge fan of Vercel. And glad to be here to talk more about how to use these two technologies together to build great products. So I'd like to give you guys a quick overview, like what we are going to build today. So basically the name is OSSInsight-Lite. As Ray just mentioned, we have a great OSS Insight website that for you to look into all the real-time GitHub statistic data. But today the Lite version is just for you. So you can just fetch your own data and display the fancy stretchy chart as the screenshot here. So what we are going to be looking is how to use both Vercel and Vercel Next.js and the TiDB Serverless to make this happen. So a quick summary of this one. The project, it displays real-time statistic data from your GitHub repository, from your specified GitHub repository or your specified users. And it can be seamlessly integrates your personal profile README, or it can be integrated into your the repository README if you want to just integrate one of the chart there. And everything is cost-free. Vercel, you can use the hobby plan. And for TiDB Serverless, we offer 5 GB storage with a lot of free request unit. So everything is free here. And these are those are the technologies we will be using today. Basically, the source code is open source on GitHub. We will be using GitHub Actions to fetch the data from the GitHub GraphQL API, and the data will be stored on TiDB Cloud, basically TiDB Serverless. And for the front end deployment CI/CD, we were basically using Vercel, and the front end framework is React, and basically Next.js for you to display and to rendering everything. Yeah, so that's a quick introduction of what we are going to build today, and I will hand over to Lee to give us an introduction about Vercel.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and share too, just so I can click through the slides. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm super excited about this and wanted to give a quick overview just of what Vercel is, what Next.js is, and teach y'all a little bit more about the tech that's powering part of the OSSInsight-Lite dashboard. So, hi, I'm Lee. I work at Vercel, and I lead our developer experience efforts here. And Vercel is really focused on everything around the front end, and that's why we pair really well with TiDB Serverless. What we've noticed is that there's a shift in how developers are building for the front end, and a lot of developers are choosing to build with frameworks like React and Vue and Svelte, and decoupling their architecture from what is these modern front-end frameworks and platforms that can support them, and then having really powerful new backend tools, whether it's serverless databases or some new, more advanced architectures as well too, kind of having a modern monolith per se. One of those frameworks is called Next.js. This is a framework we created back in 2016, and it's being used by some really awesome companies and some really large sites. And we've been working on this for some time, trying to make it an exceptional way to build websites and web applications. And the OSSInsight-Lite uses Next.js and Vercel to make it really easy to use React and to also create just a really fast React application. The way we kind of think about the world at Vercel is that when you combine frameworks, infrastructure, and then a workflow to use all of those pieces, you end up with something that's a little bit different than traditional cloud infrastructure. It's specialized for the front end, and it's built around your framework. And we're calling this a front end cloud because it's specifically focused in on just trying to get the best possible front-end experience for your customers. So there's been this journey over time, I think, with different levels of abstractions and also more specialization into providing the best product experience for just that piece of the stack. And there's a similar story as well on the back end for other companies too. One big piece of our workflow is trying to help developers just move really quickly. I think no one wants to be slowed down by their tools, and you want tools that are going to help you get your job done faster. So when you're working with this template or when you're working with Vercel in general, you're probably working with some Git source, something like GitHub. You push up your code to GitHub, you get a URL that you can share with your team, you can collaborate, you can work on, you can leave comments, you can integrate with your headless CMS or your headless content, you can integrate with your serverless database. And then when you're ready, you can push that through the different levels of environments that you want to have inside of your application. Maybe you want staging, maybe you want testing, QA, or maybe you just want a production environment, and you can graduate your application into production and test it along the way. Then when you're in production, we have a global edge network that helps your site be fast, regardless of where your customers or visitors are at in the world. And since we're built on serverless technology, it scales with your traffic. So the way I like to think about this is you want to consume, and if you're on a paid plan on Vercel, pay for the traffic that is actually helping grow your business or helping grow your site or grow your customers, rather than paying for 10 always-on servers that maybe are handling 10% of traffic, maybe 50% of traffic, and scaling up and down automatically is really helpful there. And critically, when you deploy applications to Vercel, you're not having to write infrastructure as code. You're not writing YAML files. You're not writing configuration. You write in your front-end framework. And this is a little bit different approach from, I guess, how the industry has worked for a little bit. You write in a Next.js, you write in a SvelteKit, you write in a Nuxt or a Vue, and you deploy to Vercel, and we take care of the transformation between, I wrote a server rendered page in my TiDB Next.js application, and it connects to my database. Well, Vercel is going to convert that into optimized serverless infrastructure for you that can get deployed around the world without you having to write the YAML file. So we've got some really great customers that we're super proud of who have moved to Vercel, moved to Next.js, and seen some really great results. And I'm really happy to have some of these folks along with the journey. And we're trying to provide a platform that thinks about every step of the front-end development lifecycle. So from writing code inside of my front-end framework to going through CI/CD to actually getting in production, getting feedback in terms of analytics and performance metrics on how that code is performing, enabling you to experiment, use feature flags, and roll out code safely, being able to integrate with your TiDB serverless database to make it really easy to have data around the globe. All of those things we're trying to help connect to the rest of the ecosystem and the rest of the other tools that are a part of your modern stack. And that's all I have to say about Vercel and Next.js. Hopefully that was a helpful overview. I'm happy to answer questions as well too. Yeah, hand it back to you all.
Yeah, thanks, Lee. Yeah, just scanning for a question. It doesn't seem like we have any so far. Really appreciate it. I'm sure, like, especially for people that are participating in the hackathon, if they're looking for a good tool for front-end development work, I think they'll have a good option in Vercel. So cool. Shen, I guess you're gonna sort of lead us through discussion on TiDB serverless and actually show us how you can build the personal dashboard.
Yeah, that's what we are going to do next. Yeah, so another great serverless technology here today is TiDB serverless. I just want to echo what Lee just mentioned, like with the technology from Vercel and Next.js, super convenient for myself, for our front-end team to build everything from scratch. I personally like the idea, stay away from the infrastructure as a code practice, because we are also dealing with public cloud hosting, and that's a lot of overhead. But Vercel makes everything super easy and super efficient for the team. Now here is the second technology we'll be talking about today. Is TiDB Serverless, and this is in case you haven't heard about TiDB, so it's an open source project. If you search on GitHub, it's already have 50,000 stars from the contributors all over the world. So basically, it's the most advanced open source distributed SQL database for your modern applications, and we are trusted by the companies all over the world. Is quite scalable, is versatile, and is titanium reliable. So I'm not sure, but there should be two logos showing here. Something wrong with the Google Slides rendering, Capcom and both. Those are the customers should be showing the slideshow, but I guess they just announced the collaboration with us. Perhaps that's why they are hiding behind the slideshow model. But yeah, don't mind, don't bother about that. We were talking about some of the features, some of the core benefits TiDB Serverless can bring to you as a developer. So first of all, it's MySQL compatible, which means if you are familiar with MySQL, if you have applications running together with MySQL, you can just use whatever the code you are using today and migrate data to TiDB and the TiDB Serverless. So basically, this is the code I just grabbed from the workshop we are going to build today. So you can see it actually leveraged the MySQL library and just read through the environment variables from the Vercel integrations. And that's the TiDB user, TiDB password, definitely the the credentials grabbed from our cloud management portal. And you can give it is MySQL compatible. You can use all the MySQL ecosystem to do the data migration, to do whatever else in terms of your ecosystem around your existing database and the existing applications. So secondly, I think that this is one of the features super loved by our adopters. So basically, we are building a database both for your transactional and analytical processing. Here is the benchmark we just tested recently. If you are running on traditional MySQL like RDS, you probably hit into some of the analytical queries. So TiDB is built with two different types of storage layer. Column storage for you to run the analytical processing. And we do have the traditional row-based storage for you to handle the transactional workloads. So basically, we also have a very smart, execution plan. So whatever queries you send to our database, we will decide which storage, which execution plan you should use for you. So with these two distinguished storage layer, basically the high level concept is like it could be a database for all different types of a general purpose. It's just you just spin up the database, you push the data into that. And you just build your apps, no matter if it's a transactional or analytical. And thirdly, we are collaborating with the AI technology today. It's super hot, and we are the first cloud database vendor that is integrating with OpenAI. So basically, in our web console, and we also provide open API for you to generate. To construct the SQL query in an optimal way, which means we have once you store the data, we just process your metadata, and we interact with OpenAI technology and generate a SQL query, and it will be run in the performance is relevantly good for you. So yeah, and we are introducing more AI technologies in the future just to make sure along your database development journey, everything is super intuitive, straightforward. And if you encounter anything, AI is here. Our AI bot is here for you to make your work happen. So what else? TiDB, from day one, the goal is to build a SQL at scale, which means if your business keeps running, you have more and more data in the future, or you just hit some of the spiky traffic, like this morning. Yesterday, we again, the OSSInsight-Lite was featured on Hacker News, one of the headlines on the top of the page. We got spiky traffic from there. So with our serverless hosting, we just kind of understand your traffic and dynamically assign extra database compute resource to you. So it won't even the workloads coming so in a rushy way will be automatically scale up and down to meet the workload demands in real time. There won't be any obvious latency peak doing from our monitoring dashboard. But if you are using a traditional database hosting technology, you have to either if your customer might either see a full page or whatever, you have to pay extra resource. So TiDB Serverless is all about just pay what you have used. So basically, you can start for free. Each organization can have 5 free TiDB serverless clusters, and we offer quite tremendous of free quota for you. If you just are running the workshop today, you can run at least, I would say, 10 copies of it on single cluster. But if you are running other applications like WordPress or whatever else, the free quota already can support very small, even medium applications, and you can pay extra if your business start growing. We just charge what you are going to use by the end of the month. So just to sum it up, TiDB Serverless is a general purpose database for developers, and we bringing a lot of great technologies to make your development work easy. And with our proven customers, it can be used among all different types of scenarios. No matter you're building SaaS application, we do have customers from Web3, and the financial system is one of the critical scenarios, has been proven by many of the banking system around the world. And even if you just run some dev test to spin up your CI/CD pipeline, TiDB Serverless is there for you because it can be spin up in just seconds. So all these scenarios can be covered by TiDB Serverless. And today, I'm going to show you how to just build a simple both transactional and analytical apps for you together. So all in all, TiDB Serverless free you to focus on your apps. All the traditional data management tasks are handled by us. So what you are going to do, what is your job? You just do the schema design, you construct the query, but we have the AI together just to make that even easier. App development and deployment. If you are lucky, if you are using Next.js or Vercel or other technologies, everything will be super seamless because we have the ecosystem integration with them. We do have customers from one of the Web3 companies. So Web3 is growing super fast, right? It's all about how to make it quickly happen so they can they can attract their customers to look into their innovation ideas as early as possible. So TiDB Serverless is the technology enable them to make it happen. All right, I guess that's I was rambling on too much because I'm so excited to share with you like the great things we've been building here. Now it's time for the workshop. It's time for the real demo. So I'm going to switch to my browser window. Give me a second. So here is the repository. We are going to, it's already under our PinCap official organization. So here's the repository you should get started today. So if you look at the README, let me zoom in a little bit. So we do have a demo website is already hosted on Vercel. So you can take a quick look of the kind of the final presentation of the sample application. So basically, while we finding chart display presentation for you to show all the activities from your personal GitHub repository. So in case here you can see this is a very intense GitHub user, and here is actually he is our CTO at PinCap. Who started the TiDB project several years ago. So he is still quite active among the open source, technology. But what we are going to build is just a dashboard for yourself. So basically, we just go through the README and look into documentation. You have a GitHub account, right? That's why I'm here. I can see this page. TiDB Serverless, perhaps you're going to create that today, but it will be super straightforward. Vercel is another technology we just covered, and that will be the platform for us to build and host the whole application. So it will take 10 minutes for us to finish everything. So I will start from here, create a TiDB Serverless cluster. So I will just grab this window to the right side, so it's easier for me to see the things in the parallel. All right, so the first thing is to create, you need to prepare a database and later just leverage the GitHub API to fetch the data and store it into the TiDB Serverless. So click here to create a TiDB Cloud database. So here's our management portal of TiDB Cloud. We do have two offerings today. Serverless is the option for you to get started. But if you have a huge application running on the cloud, definitely contact our sales force for the dedicated option. And we will just focus on the serverless today. So we do have a cloud provider for you to choose to select the region. I'm in Seattle, so I will start from the one close to me, maybe the US West 2. That's the US West 1 is super busy today. I will start with the US West 2. So you can see, I don't have a credit card binding to TiDB Cloud. I can start from free, it gives me free quota. I just use the default cluster name. I hit the create button. So it is underlying. We have resource pool to just try to assign a serverless cluster to you. So obviously it will be ready in a few seconds. Let's go back to the README and see what are the next things we should do. So once it's ready, we just hit the connect button here. And let's see, what we should do is to create a password and select the connect with option here as general. So here is what I'm going to do, select general and create password. Cool. So it asks me to capture the connection information for the next step. So I will just keep the screen open so I can always go back to get the information later. So next step is to set up GitHub action. So what I should do is to go back to the repository. Let's see, I need to fork the repository. So I just click this button. Oh, looks like there are already a lot of people forked, I guess yesterday by seeing the Hacker News headline. So I just click this button. So I got my own copy. Next step is just go to the settings page and set up the GitHub action secrets. So here I have the let me see, secrets and variables and for actions. So I'm going to create a new repository secret. So looks like what I'm going to copy paste is the database URL, and everything here is in MySQL format. There's another evidence that we are fully MySQL compatible. So looks like I need to construct the connection string by myself. So basically copy paste everything and make sure I have the placeholder mapped in that one. So again, go back to the GitHub secrets, and here's my host. Port is 4000, username, and the password. I can click this button. I just created a new password. So yeah, looks like everything's good. So I just add a secret. Cool. And the next step, I guess I need to trigger the GitHub action pipeline. So go back to this. If I understand correctly, I have a GitHub data pipeline. I just enable the workflow and run it by trigger it manually. So let's see. Yeah, so it start running now. And looks like, there are two jobs running in parallel. From the name, I can tell one of them is trying to fetch the data from my personal profile. I guess it will be through the GitHub Graph API. And the other one is trying to fetch the repository data. I have no idea which repo is working against at this moment, but we could figure it out later. So let's see what else we can do. I guess here are the screenshots to manually trigger the workflow. I already made that happen. So next step is to deploy to Vercel. Cool. So go to the Vercel dashboard. This is my Vercel dashboard. I'm going to add a new project like this, and it will list all the repository from my recent activity. I just click import. And looks like it's already an application built on top of Next.js, and everything is defined in the package.json. So I can just hit the deploy button. Super straightforward. And I guess it start building, and once I get something, I will see the logs here. So next step, I guess one thing I need to handle is to connect my Vercel app to TiDB Serverless. So I need to go to the TiDB Cloud integration page. Let's get it here. So basically, this is from the Vercel marketplace. If you look into the database category, we do have a TiDB Cloud option there. Is built by the with the great partnership with Vercel. So I just hit the add integration here, and I just need to enable this integration. And from the screenshot, I guess I need to configure the connection. I click the add link, and is already the project is already listed here. And I can tell if I select the cluster, it will give me all the environment variables here. So I do have two clusters. I guess what I was just created is the cluster 1. And let me see what else if I need to change. No, I just add a link. and go back to the deployment page. Let's see what will happen. So I guess there is a little bit of chicken egg problem because I hit the deployment first and later added the environment variables. So I guess I need to once something triggered here, I guess I will hit the arrow that it cannot find the environment variables talk to my TiDB. So I guess let's wait for a minute and see if that will happen. If that happens, from the README, from the instructions here, I was asked to do the redeploy. I think that's quite straightforward. Cool, right? That's actually expected. So let's see what was the error message. I think Vercel is super convenient. Just highlight the message. So invalid URL, I guess that's the MySQL database URL. All right, so I just go back to the project. And I think I need to do the deployment again. So here, I just hit the button, redeploy. And I don't want to use the build cache. I just start from scratch, so it will take all the, artifacts just changed in a few seconds ago. So I guess the build will take around 2 minutes. In that case, let's go back to the GitHub data pipeline. Looks like everything is ready. So we do have the TiDB Cloud Web Console here. Let me zoom in a little bit. I guess I put all the data into the cluster 1. And it has some raw storage. That's 200 megabytes from the GitHub, Graph API. So what I'm going to do is to go to the chat to query page and see what has been stored here. So looks like there are 2 database has been created. GitHub personal, I assume that's my personal data, and the GitHub repos database. I guess that's an I don't know, but that could be whatever repository I can point to, and it can fetch the data from that repository, so that later I can do the visualization. So I'd like to inspect the data a little bit. So let me just explore the data, and it gives me some ideas what is stored here. The environment, deployment, created. So I think that's quite basic metadata. Let me get some real data. So perhaps I'd like to know, like, language distribution of the repos. So basically, I'm under GitHub personal. I guess you will list a language distribution for my own repositories. So I just hit the enter, and you can see you generate a SQL query with OpenAI, and if I run the query, it will show all the repositories I personally created under my personal account. So we do have a chart for you to visualize, to quickly check if anything's wrong. And looks like from the result, there is an empty line that contains that doesn't have any language information, but that's okay. I just trust the metadata from GitHub. So I think I will later check it out, what are the repositories are, but that's a new insight for me. Before PingCap, I was from Microsoft, so C# is the top technology there. Definitely C++ and Python are the most common language I'll be using. And later I learned front-end technology, and those following other things by that. So let's go back to the Vercel. Let's see what are the issues here. no output directory named public after build completed. So I'm not sure what was wrong here. Let's see. Let's check the error message. I guess I probably start to initiate the database stuff. Missing public directory. So let's see. I'm not sure what was happening at this here at this moment. First Node.js shared by all.
Yeah, interesting. I can try to help you debug here. If you, I wonder if we go to our project. So basically, what happened looking at that message is Vercel wasn't able to understand what the directory created was. So it's looking for a specific format, and the format looked a little bit different. But it looks like the build completed successfully, like the Next.js build did. We saw the output from there.
Yeah.
So you click on the project and you go to settings.
Nice. Yep.
So this could have been a bug, or maybe something that we need to configure with the way, like the button to actually click and deploy. But if you see the framework preset there, it says other on the right side. Yeah. So what's happened there, if you click on that, you change it to Next.js and you redeploy. What happened is that the framework didn't get set correctly to Next.js. And normally this happens automatically. There might be a bug here. So if you click on that drop down that says other and go to Next.js is in there somewhere.
This one.
Yeah. And then hit save. And then if we do another redeployment, I can talk through basically how that works. But yeah, if you take that last one, we can redeploy it in there.
Let's try it again.
Yeah. So basically the way it works is Vercel, when you push up a deployment, Vercel is going to look at the repository. It's going to try to understand what framework you're building with and what settings it can automatically configure and optimize for you. And I don't know, I'll have to root cause this one to see if it's actually a bug or if it's a way we kick off the deployment through the deploy button or the link that we send. But basically what happened was it didn't correctly detect that it was Next.js, which means that the folder structure that it was looking for, the outputs from the Next.js build process, it didn't know the correct folder to look for. So now that it knows the correct folder to look for, my assumption is that it should work just fine. So we'll see
Fingers crossed. We will see.
Yeah.
Nice. So I guess yeah, that's super helpful, Lee. That's hopefully that can solve the issue. But in the meanwhile, let's go to our code repository and see some of the things I like to mention here. So recently I've been heavily used code spaces. So basically I can inspect the code with code experience in web console in my browser. So here, let me zoom in a little bit. I guess if I understand everything correctly, we have the next config, and we have the package.json, and Vercel will leverage all these things to understand what is the folder structure, what are the front end framework for us to deploy and to run. So here, what I would like to show with you guys, I'm just to hit npm install first so that I can ignore all the arrows. So let's go back to the, I guess one of the things is to the, I guess, packages, I guess, maybe this thing, build tool. So what I'm going to get is the MySQL the code, MySQL code that gets the let me see the database connection for you guys. Yes, here is under packages, build tool, webpack, and yes, DB instance. So there are lots of npm packages need to be prepared, but in the meanwhile, you can tell this is code we get the data from the our Vercel integrations with TiDB Serverless, and you will check the environment variables populated by our integration. Let's reload the window. Yes. All right. So this looks better. So you can see you construct the URL from everything and use MySQL as the database type to talk to get the data and see everything from your database. So let's go back to the Vercel, and it might take a few more seconds to complete. So what else we can do during this moment? So maybe what I can do is to go back to the docs and see what else we can do while we are waiting. So definitely we just went through the basic setup, but there are other instructions for developers for you to see. Those are the extra features can be leveraged. You can track repositories. You can track your private repositories. If you're interested, definitely check it out later. But now looks like under Lee's help, we solved the problem, and we can hit the visit button. And here, this is my latest deployment. You can see the URL. And here, I just, these are the kind of a statistic visualization of my personal GitHub repository. So if I want to share this one with someone else, perhaps I go to my project and visit the main URL of this one. I will start from here. So one thing, I guess, as we just introduced that earlier, it's a full customizable, dashboard. So maybe I just click this button. That's looks like something I can customize. So password, I guess, let me see. I need to get the password to edit the dashboard. Is actually covered by the instruction, but now I can tell you the password is TiDB Cloud. Here, everyone joined the event today. You will know the password. Everybody else, they will search for the password later in the instructions. So I log into this dashboard, and it gives me the edit mode of this thing. So the next thing I like to try is to add a widget. So I can see the drop down here. There are different types of widget for me. I can just add a markdown or a SQL chart. I guess SQL chart is to write a SQL and generate some visualization for me. So I just hit this button. Looks like it gives me SQL editor, and I can see my database tables and schemas here. So what I should do, I'm just so lazy. I'm just going back to the TiDB Cloud Console and copy paste the SQL query generated by the AI. I paste it here. So I hit the run button. So looks like order by let's see. The count has language, select, I have to select, sorry about that. I just hit the run button again. And looks like it works. Is it? Okay, so I have all my language distributions here. And if it can display in a chart, looks like something is not happening here. But I got the correct data from here. So I'm going to look for help from the instructions. Looks like the reason is because maybe the first one doesn't have a language title, so it display in a raw format. So I go to the README, how to write a widget. That's asking me to contribute a widget. So I can go to this one, and here is the SQL code for me to display. It looks like I need to specify where language is known. So I just copy paste. I'm so lazy, so I hit the run button again. It eliminates the first column, and looks like the table, the display is not showing. Let me check what was wrong. I guess that's something happened here. I'm not sure. The X field, the Y field count. Looks like everything is perfect. So I'm going to ignore this, but definitely. So if you run, given we just have a few minutes, if you get everything successfully, later you will see there will be a bar chart for you guys to display. I guess there should be some rendering issues from this one. So again, once the SQL is successfully triggered and the bar chart can be displayed, you can just drag and drop and customize where you want to display this one. And we do have an admin portal for you guys to, to discover some of the advanced features. You can have multiple dashboard. We just added a new widget in the default one. You can specify a repository, get the data, and do the display. So if you are working against a popular organization or popular project, you can import you can show the widget in the README. So yeah, that's basically the functionality of this one. What I'm going to do next is to the whole website is done. Looks like. That's why the rendering is not showing. Oh, it's working now. Oh, and this is come back to life. I just want to bring that back. Yeah, that's the visualization chart. Looks like I got some network issue, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do next is to integrate this fancy chart into my personal profile. So it has this cool sharing feature. I just copy this markdown. I guess GitHub is accepting markdown format for my personal profile. And if you want to share into your own website, if you share in other format, there are other tabs. So I'm going to go back to my GitHub repository. I guess what I'm going to do, if you are familiar with GitHub, you need to create a new repository with your name as the repository name. You can see that's a special repository. You can use admin markdown to your GitHub profile. I'm going to add a README file here. And I will just add this profile and let's see. Hi there, this is Shane. And this is my contribution time distribution. I just hit the commit change. And I go back to my, it's already here. I go back to my profile. It's great, cool. So looks like I'm quite active during some of the time period on the day, but I'm been working. Sometimes I've been traveling in different time zones, so you can see the bigger circles are kind of evenly distributed in this chart. So yeah, that's basically everything about this project. So if you are interested, just go back to the our main repository and fork your own, play it by yourself. If you have your ideas, you can. We do have the instructions for you how to contribute to this project. So definitely check it out and let us know.
Cool. Well, thanks for doing a live demo and also live debugging. Thank you, Lee. And I don't know, Lee, if you have anything else to add here, in particular about like how we use Vercel and how it was integrated, but.
Nothing top of mind. That was a great demo.
Yeah.
It just shows the power of connecting all the different tools together, and a really awesome application as well too. So great job.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Yeah, and I don't know, Shane, if you mentioned this for like I think this was like one of the most popularly requested features from the OSS Insight community, so people can build their own dashboard. So this is like a community inspired, so it's really cool. But
Yep. All right. I think that's almost everything from my part. I think, Ray, maybe you want to record a hackathon, so everybody
yeah,
get excited.
right. I mean, if you still have the slides, you can just flash it up there.
Sure.
I don't
Yeah.
think we
Why
need to.
not?
Yeah, don't need to switch displays. We only have a few minutes left, so. I mean, people like, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people that are already part of the hackathon, but if you haven't joined yet and are on the fence, you can register today at that link there. Go to Dev Post and you can find TiDB Hackathon. It runs until I think the submission deadline is actually like July 28th. So you still have well over a month to form teams and come up with project ideas. And if you go to the next slide, we have a total of like a $36,000 in prizes. And not surprisingly, one of them's on best user experience, courtesy of Vercel. You'll get lots of, you'll have a chance to win lots of Vercel credit if you win the best user experience award. So um, hopefully people can have fun with it and then win some exciting prizes at the same time. So feel free to go to the Dev Post page and join our Discord community and participate in the hackathon, and that's about it. And hopefully this the demo today gave people an idea of kind of applications that you can build with TiDB serverless and great technologies from Vercel. So. Cool. Let's see. There is a question. Would I still qualify? Uh, would I still qualify for the hackathon if I use TiDB only as my database? I would think, for example, like storing posts on a blog. I think Wink is answering the question. I'll let him type the answer. I would think the answer is yes, but. Yeah, Wink, thanks for confirming. So yeah, I mean, using TiDB as a database, that definitely works. So I think that's sort of yeah.
Yeah.
Let me,
Yeah, just
and then,
add one thing a little bit. So
mhm,
as the OVAD, I think the one who raised the question asking the scenario storing post of a blog, that definitely works.
mhm.
TiDB is compatible with MySQL and WordPress can runs on top of it. If you are thinking something around that, we do have official sample code for that. You can also start from there.
Cool. All right, and then I'm just checking YouTube live stream just to make sure there are no questions there. It looks like we're good. Uh, uh, All right, so I think we can sort of wrap things up. I mean, thank you, Shin, and thank you, Lee, for joining this morning. I mean, it's morning in the U.S. For people that are joining, I'm not quite sure where you are, but hopefully you have a good rest of the day. If you're participating in the hackathon, good luck with your participation, and I'll see you at the next virtual meetup. Thanks, everybody.